Our school's case analysis is love for children, love for literature, love for reading, result of independence, freedom, and comfort. The school is common learning center school. Our society is changed quickly and our school need to keep up. So the current, which is painful, was his student learning. He has always changed to meet new needs. In academic career, education helps to create a system who can think critical. As society change, our curriculum must prepare students for new challenge. Teacher must keep learning new ways to teach to make sure the curriculum stays relevant. This is why it's so important for the whole school to work together on making the curriculum. By doing this, education doesn't just share knowledge, it helps building the future of our society. And this is our school information.
Okay, so the first part we are going to talk about is the goal-driven. And the main idea of goal-driven is to increasing learning effectiveness by catering students' individual learning needs. The goal of the school is to develop high motivation model targets to strengthen students' learning effectiveness. For achieving the goal-driven, the teacher will modify the instructional materials to suit the students, also to enhance the school's learning environments. And for the picture, you can see that the teachers will observe students' challenge of the learnings and work with students to better understand their actual needs. And the methods to improve students' individual learning needs and achieve targets is that teachers will use grouping strategies to achieve the targets. Students are grouped by ability to prevent those with strong ability students to conducting the whole exercise. And every students with different abilities have the same opportunity to be the leader of the grouping. And the third is that teachers can participate in discussion to provide appropriate help to diverse pupils. So students with different abilities can have the help of the teachers, and the grouping strategy is employed to meet each student's particular learning skills.
Okay, the second is human resource drive regarding teachers as a main subject is good. First one, we talk about in terms of school personal responsibility. That's resource sharing, some Chinese language to the student department. And second is the curriculum supports the library resource enhance the Chinese language curriculum. So some events like food exhibition and active talk and reading promotion, the department of reading plans and activity to enhance student reading interest and skills. And some interest activity planning, supporting in organized curricular related activity like reading groups. Last one is research a project curriculum, just some educational research, language library resource, and language experience. The second is the HR school outside, like enhance diversity and answer reversion. And curriculum stays related to again with society needs, and there's some teacher to together sharing about their experience.
Next, I will talk about the resources driven, which means that they consider the school context and resources as the basis. So for the internal school resources, they have the library support, which provide local authors' famous Chinese literacy readings to students. And they have the notice board to introduce different local authors, and the reading record booklet for students to enhance reading interest. They also set up a book club for students to share from within, and the reading journal for students to write down their comments for the books. So outside school active resources, they have the theme-based book fair, and they have organized the Chinese literature book fair hosted by the public library.
So for curriculum driven, it talks about the interaction among the context, the teachers and the students. Both teachers and students have participated in interactive teaching and learning in the SBC, which is a stepwise procedure across the time frame of Chinese reading scheme from teacher-centered to student-centered learning. Students were asked to imitate syntax patterns from readers, and teachers provide suggestions to their writing. An example is the good use of imagination and room for development for the poem Blossom written by teachers, and teachers will also mark down students' concepts of love and growth during sharing, which is a kind of student context interaction. Curriculum driven also talks about the interaction among context, teachers, and students, which the school has held a children's poetry sharing session in which students select the representative poems from their class and perform them on site. Teachers will provide comments for students' work displayed, which is a kind of student-teacher interaction, and students will select the best of the poems among them all to create a poetry collection, and which will be displayed on the boards to showcase students' creation, allowing students to receive peer recognition and also enhancing their motivation for creation.
For teaching-driven strategies, it leads learners to take initiative in their own learning. In the beginning, teacher was leading the lesson by designing tasks and teaching materials. In the middle stage, teacher arranges independent learning tasks to stimulate learners' motivation. At the end, the lesson are almost student leader because they've already developed self-study and self-reflection strategies. Students could take turns to be group leaders to hold discussions. It helps them to co-build and share knowledge.
So for student-driven, it talks about active and individual differences. And the background is that students from this school have a rather large individual differences. And the school's response is to design instructional plans and multi-intelligence language learning activities on the basis of target theory. The TARGAT stands for different things like task, authority, recognition, grouping, evaluation, and time. And these are some exemplars for students' works. An example is the reading reflection card, the things to tell the author if you have such opportunity, and the use of reciprocal teaching within groups, with each group having different types of students, like strong, average, and weak students in a group, so they take turns to teach each other. And the use of reciprocal teaching within groups to co-teach reading skills of predicting, questioning, clarifying, and summarizing.
As for the teacher-driven, in order to ensure that the curriculum is active through ongoing evaluation and interpretation of the curriculum document, teachers who adopt the teacher-driven approach study, interpret, develop, implement, and evaluate the curriculum. Teachers should act as the researcher that focus on the large differences in student learning. Teachers are open to experimenting with the new ways of teaching. In this plan, self-direct learning is used to reduce the differences. Next, teacher should act as an interpreter that teachers will provide the needs that students need to ensure what have the student perceived. In addition, teachers have created some opportunities for students to engage. Teachers also need to be a developer that find out what the student needs. In this case, diversity strategy is used to provide the different needs to students, which can enhance students' self-direct learning. Also, they can apply the theory of self-direct learning and plan different teaching frameworks to strengthen students' understanding. Also, teachers may have cooperate with different subjects to provide more high quality resources. And for the implementer, teachers will explain how the plan works, like the picture below shows the reading process. That can help teachers know how to implement the plan and make sure they understand how it works. They can follow it step by step, which are easily to make the plan clear. Lastly, at the end of the project, teachers will act as an evaluator to summarize the results and their understanding. The performance assessment is to evaluate the feasibility of the project based on its effectiveness.
Okay, for the process driven, it is about the dynamic, reflective, and action research, which is just the appropriateness of the authority and the responsibility for the curriculum decisions at the age level. So the courses are designed based in develop our high motivation motivational model, which is the target model, and including the planning, design, implementation, evaluation, and the reflection process. So in the planning and implementation stage, the unit plan has shown the process of the planning and implementation, and at the assessment and evaluation, it is using the construct, develop, and take the initiative to improve, which is from shallow to deep to use their assessment. And the next part is about the reflection in the teacher's perspective on the stage of assessment and evaluation. And the next part is about the curriculum is using a process-oriented approach to dynamically develop the course, including the development of the 3 learning stage, including the front, middle, and the last stage of the learning reading program. So the courses are designed based in the planning, design, implementation, and the evaluation and reflection stage. And so this part is about the relationship of the participants in the curriculum development are also dynamic. So at the different stage of the development, they are responsible for playing in their different roles. So for example, for the role of teachers and students, dynamic roles in various learning stages include such as there can be the educator, participants, and the resource providers. And also there are different cooperation between the participants. For example, the library is cooperation with the Chinese subject teachers, and they have reflection as their participants about their self-learning curriculum. And the next part is about the administration preference, which is adjust the power and the responsibility for different level. The curriculum is adopted an independent school-based development model in the reading and planning strategies application, which have the authority, and the school have the authority and responsibility in making the curriculum decisions, which is with their ability to tailor and plan based on the school's specific needs and the context. And the school has designed a theoretical basis for the independent learning and formulated the teachings and the multiple intelligence Chinese learning activities based on the student learning needs and their interests. So the school is as a leading role in the curriculum decisions and aligning the powers and the responsibility to ensure that the curriculum meets the student needs. And the next page is about the school is being responsible for determining the overall educational goals and the policy to support the promotion of the independent student learnings, and act as a planners, which is providing support and resource to ensure the effectiveness of the implementation of the curriculum plans. And for the teachers, it is a key role in planning and developing the appropriate learning plans, reading plans, and the strategies based on the student learning diversities, and by providing teachers with their appropriate professional development opportunity and support, which is applying their innovative methods in teaching and encouraging the students to actively participate in their reading activities. And the next phase is about at the implementation stage, the Chinese teachers are cooperating with the library, which shows the cooperation between the participants. And at the planning stage, it has included the team building between the teachers and which is organized by the principal and the church. And self-evaluation from teachers are organized by the principal, vice principal, and the curriculum coordinator and the subject team supervisor. And in the learning and teaching stage, there are collaboration with the internal and external stakeholders of the school. And this part is about the 4 stages of thinking process of the school-based curriculum development. At the planning stage, the professional training, which is the professional training and setting up for the organization. The first part is about the diversity of the study and the professional training modes, including different talks and the exchange activities for teachers, which is handling teachers related to their research activities, which is organizing staff learning activities for their school courses, including the lectures, seminars, which is enhance their professional skills in the Chinese reading program and the target scientific research activities. And the attitude and the next part is about the attitude and level of teachers' participation, which is the which is showing their they have a positive attitude towards the reading planning and strategies application, are highly involved and willing to continuously improve their professional abilities and apply in their teaching practice. And the next part is about the willingness of and the attitude of the community and parents in their participations, including the internal and external stakeholders of the school, is engaging in their teaching and learning exchange. And the next part is about the exploration of network and resource evaluation. The focus point of this part is about establish a positive and caring campus culture and cultivate all-round character qualities for the courage to face challenge. So the school size and culture analysis, parent social status, and the students' quality analysis, and the assessment of the community and parents' expectations are and their teachers' expertise and their competency assessment has shown in this page, which is evaluate the school cultures and the teachers' agreements to which the school cultures can support the school-based curriculum and the professional development, and the analysis of the student model thinkings and their quality to develop the Chinese reading program with the theme of their care and growth. And the next page is about the proposing of the school general curriculum plans from the overall recommendations, which is showing a culture of pursue our quality and continuous optimization has been developed. So most of the teachers have a positive attitude towards the teaching's self-improvement mechanism, and the course planning for the discretion of the school analysis and evaluation overall recommendation is the development of the target model has mastered the relevant concept and the teaching strategies. So the Chinese subjects has performing well in setting the teaching goals. And the next part is about the time management of the curriculum planning, including the free learning stage for the students. So the clear roles and the work division of the curriculum design is implemented of the plan and reserve flexibility of the plan curriculum. Also, the mechanism of the evaluation, feedback, and correction of the plan is showing from the unit plan.
Okay, so next part will be the designing stage. The first step of designing stage is to build a curriculum design organization. For the project of the reading, the curriculum will be contain 4 elements. So the target of the activities will be primary 5 students, and there will be 5 classes for the reading activity. And the participants of the organization will be the Chinese teacher, library panel, and curriculum coordinator. And the reading materials they will be learned is the poem and fiction. And as a result, there is a cooperation between the Chinese teacher and the library panel in charge of the activity of the project. And for the designed teaching material, there will be 3 books for reading. And there will be self-reading and class reading for students to have prior knowledge before the lessons. And for the teaching activity, before the reading, there would be micro teachings to assess students in getting familiar with the text and recognize the 4 fundamental reading methods. And for the remarks, the teachers will observe the students' difficulties within the task and modify the teaching materials for them.
Yeah, another part of the design stage is the design teaching activity during reading. As mentioned above, before fundamental reading methods, teachers should instruct students to use these 4 reading strategies. Moreover, teachers should lead discussion and provide scaffolding, which can help students master reading strategies. In this stage, teachers can also pre-teach some difficult words first that students can understand more. About the experiment of the activity, let's talk about the inadequate diagnostic design. Avoid students relying too much on teachers and provide help only when student need can increase the success of the project. In the outage of the project, revise the design that summarize the results and shortcomings. Also adjust the content to improve the project.
In the science implementation stage, in the asset of discussion, teachers will collaborate in teams and seek and share resources. For example, the library director of this school, in collaborate with the Chinese arts, also provide portrait collection and webpage. In addition, it will need to connect with the nature of social resource with teachers outside of school and create with different reader. And in terms of teaching preparation, students should be guided of multiple teacher, strengthen the understanding and application of reading stages, achieve importance to the reading process, and enjoy the fun of reading. In addition, the plan is to allow students to be leaders, encourage them to get close to nature, increase their interest in learning, and thus activity reading.
So for the implementation according to curriculum solutions, the school could implement the curriculum plan according to those outlined in the design stage. These include echoing teaching objectives, the planned use of teaching materials, resources, and assessments. So some examples are allowing students to make lesson cuts that echoes the intended learning outcome of establishing concepts of care and growth, setting reading goals and writing reading log that help students spark their interest for reading, and poem extraction, appreciation, and illustration for their poem writing. So for reflection, discussion, evaluation, and revision, students' written comments reflected that the curriculum sparked their interest in learning Chinese creativity for poem writing. And teachers' discussion and evaluation in multiple perspectives also show their reflection on teaching effectiveness, pedagogical approach, and reflection of their own teaching. Also, their reflection on students' learning motivation through observation of students' learning and response and ambience. It is prospected that the reading scheme can be extended to other primary levels, and also more types of books can be added to enrich learning.
Talking about the result evaluation stage, teachers assess students' learning outcome and performance based on the learning goals. There are 4 types of formative assessment that have been put in place, including in-class Q&A, group discussion, reading activities, peer assessment, and self-reflection. At the end, a writing worksheet is provided as a summative assessment. There are totally 4 learning objectives with students' work attached as evidence. I'm going to further explain it in the next page. According to students' work during the whole learning process, they are able to appreciate poems and the natural environment, designing poems, and develop their self-learning abilities. It shows that students can successfully achieve the 4 learning objectives. Talking about teachers' growth, they are in stage 5, which is the advocacy phase. Teachers have used diverse teaching materials and assessment methods. They can adjust the teaching content and materials based on students' interests. They also cooperate with the library to hold some reading activities.
Next, I will talk about the result evaluation stage, which is about the satisfaction and the teaching load. So from the school report, didn't mention about the teaching load, but the students, they did provide positive feedback on the activity because they can learn more different ways in composing a poem, and they have improvements in creativity, imagination, and self-expression, and they can think that Chinese lessons are more interesting than before. Next. I'll be talking about the teachers' positive feedback on the activity. Teachers, they think that choosing the learning materials from the students' perspective can increase the interest of students, and they are happy to see that the project is able to enhance the self-learning abilities of the students. Next. Next, we're going to talk about the 6 important principles of school-based curriculum development. To talk about the scope, for the depth of the contents, they have the exploration of putting reading strategies into writing skills. So they will introduce the Chinese literature to students by explaining the reading strategies, and then they will encourage them to use the strategies to read the passages, and every student has the chance to be the leader. And they will introduce the Chinese poems to students and lead them to try to rewrite a poem. Later, they will introduce different genres of Chinese poems to students and leading them to write a similar poem. And lastly, ask them to do online research to get some insights about the topic and write their own poems. Next. Talk about the breadth of the contents. For the diverse learning topics, the teaching topics are using reading strategies to read and understand Chinese literature and to get them to write a poem. And the learning activities are having classroom learning, peer learning, book club activity, writing poems class, and poem sharing session. And for the types of learning experience, inside school, just same as before, they will have classroom learning, peer learning, book club activities, and writing poems class and poem sharing session. And for outside school, they will share the public library resources to students and provide online reading platforms for students and let them to do online research platform to get the information in writing poems. Next. And for the objectives of learning, for knowledge, they want to have students understand the reading strategies and to distinguish different types of poems. And for the skills, they want them to use the reading strategies to understand the passage and to use the writing skills to compose a poem. And for attitude, they want them to develop interest in Chinese literature and poems and to appreciate different pieces of Chinese literature and to appreciate peers' poems and to develop active learning attitude.
As for the teaching secrets, the teacher uses simple to complex learning strategies. Here are the 3 stages. In stage 1, which is the most simple and concrete, the teacher will first guide students to understand a poem before they can use pictures to describe it. In stage 2, which is more difficult, students have to do parallel writing. In stage 3, it is the most complex and abstract. Students could write the poems on their own. Next. The teacher has provided scaffolding in the whole learning process. At first, the teacher will guide and demonstrate for students until they can manipulate and learn by themselves. At the end, students are expected to learn actively in the extended activities. It shows a transformation of learning responsibility from teacher to students. Next. Apart from this, prerequisite learning also helps to enhance learning efficiency. Before student did poem writing, teachers support students to brainstorm before writing strategies. It helps them to become familiar with the learning contents. This step-by-step learning also helps students to master advanced skills and enhance their self-confidence. Next.
And this one is talk about the continuities. And this is real learning style. And this school is self-paced learning. The target model promotes self-direction and group learning, allowing for extended term use and deep engaging to challenge tasks, including in deep exploration of the subject. And multi-positioning activity involve the multi-intelligence with student knowledge scope. And some reading stress interest the spirit curricular purpose in stage are applied across tasks. And the learning stage management. Studying learning management, adult most tasks are structured in stage to enhance the position reading skills development. And this is also the process increment according to the difficult to the curriculum. You see some free stage in the pre, during, and the post.
So for the horizontal relationship between different types of content themes, it surrounds individual, family, and school for Chinese language subjects. And for individual, students' poetry creation is a manifestation of students' independence and active learning. For example, that of a poem that describes flower and of a story character. And for family, many poem excerpts use family as the context of scenarios with self-generated questions and vocabulary definition for better understanding. And for school, the development of poem ideas through the use of brainstorming strategies in class. And the school's curriculum notes also pointed out that the use of novel excerpts that suit and connect students' daily lives, as well as that of what they can learn in school for the topic of love, care, and growth. Integration also surrounds and also emphasizes that organizations should be offered to curriculums following the work topic of caring the real life. And regarding Chinese language, students' reading comprehension skills, questioning skills, and composition can be strengthened throughout the curriculum, which also encourage the use of 5 senses as multisensory experience for connection to real life. And the reading scheme also aligned with the teaching principles outlined in ADB's curriculum guide for Chinese language in primary school, which focuses on how listening, speaking, reading, and writing should be holistically taught to students, and how content and format are equally important. Regarding library studies, students were introduced more about local authors in Hong Kong, and they are also extended learning to off-campus exhibitions and resources like that of Hong Kong Public Library. And regarding visual arts, because students' poems have some space for them to draw to describe the poem, and this encourages creativity and expression through freely depicting students' poem and imagination.
Okay, the next part is the articulation. For articulation, there are 2 parts of articulation: vertical articulation and horizontal articulation. For vertical articulation, the goal of vertical articulation is to ensure students have prior knowledge before the lessons. For this part, teachers can provide students with a basic knowledge of the topics that will be taught in the coming lessons. And the one way for achieving that is teachers can give students the mind map for brainstorming, so it can help them become familiar with the future teaching topic. And for the mind map, they can search the information independently to attain self-learning before the upcoming lesson. And another aspect of vertical articulation is to ensure students can learn the reading skill sequentially. For the teacher can teach the 4 skills to improve their learning efficiency, from prediction to summarize. Starting from the prediction, students can identify clues like title or picture of the text to predict the information of the reading. And the second reading skill would be questioning. Students can ask questions about essential concepts in the article, such as WH question, to increase their understandings of the key themes. And the first reading skill will be clarifications. Students will overcome the problems and answer their own question when reading. And the last techniques would be summary. Students can explain the main points of the text to comprehend in their own words. So the vertical articulation can be learned by students step by step, and there will be order of content for students to equip their reading skills and improve their 4 reading skills to prepare for next year learning, which is their primary 6.
About the horizontal articulation, as we can see the picture on the left-hand side, the Kinetic approach is used in this project to promote self-direct learning, which can enhance students' deeper understanding and synthesis of knowledge. They can learn more about holistic and interconnected learning experience. Also, project has provided diversity resources for students to explore more local writers, inspire them to ethically seek knowledge. Moreover, project advocate interdisciplinary units to show the importance of interrelatedness of different subjects. The project has mentioned that the library directly collaborates with the Chinese department, which can encourage students to make connection between them. Nevertheless, students will customize reading goals and become more initiative. They will also read local novels by themselves. That shows the success of the project.
And this part is about the balance, which is the appropriateness of the proportion about the teaching materials, learners, and curriculum styles. and the forming of the teachers group. So the first part is about the selection of the teaching materials is balancing to their each stage for their learning process, which is from the teachers directed to the student self-learning. And the next part is about the learning process is divided into the 3 stages. The first stage is the teachers oriented. So the student can have a brief understanding and familiarize with their learning materials. And then stage 2 is the mutual teaching method. So the student have the chance to internalize and apply their knowledge in the group discussion. And the stage 3 is enlarge their learning materials. So the student is self-oriented in this learning process, which is allowing them to choose their own book for their reading sharing. Next. And the next part is about the balance in providing a variety of the learning materials, including the writer talks, exhibition, and the e-learning materials, which is the caring of the students' learning diversity, which is providing which is suitable for the students' personal and social intelligence goals. And the next part is about the balancing in forming of the teachers group, which is the cooperation between the libraries and Chinese subject teachers and their curriculum coordinator. So the next part is about how the instructional objectives of this reading curriculum is balancing with their learning activities and their assessments is aligned and with their learning goals and balance with each other, which is focusing on the students' self-learning as their final outcome.